Fans have eagerly been awaiting more news about the upcoming Jon Snow spin-off series ever since it was first announced, and now it seems Kit Harington has finally given us a bit of a teaser of what to expect. In today's video, we'll be talking about what Kit has revealed about the upcoming Game of Thrones spin-off and a lot more. So let's dive right in. First off, Kit says Jon Snow isn't okay. GOT fans have been wondering just where the story of the upcoming spin-off series could go. For most people, it seemed that Jon's story was mostly wrapped up and concluded. While we can argue all day if the conclusion was satisfying or not, it was still very much an end for the character. But it seems that Jon's journey isn't over just yet. While most people thought that the character got to ride off into the sunset, it looks like there are still issues that he's got to deal with. In regards to this, Kit told Entertainment Weekly that Jon Snow wasn't doing okay. He added that if you were to ask him, he'd probably say that he got off quite lightly, considering what he did. When he was in the cell at the end of the show, he was just about ready to get beheaded. But the fact that he gets the chance to go off beyond the wall, to him, is the greatest gift. But it's also his greatest curse. For someone in his position, getting the chance to walk the earth is definitely a huge boon. But he's going to have to continue living knowing what he's done, and all of that will definitely lead to some trauma and pain. He's going to spend his life thinking about how he killed Dany, and about how Ygritte died in his arms. Jon also has to deal with the fact he hung Ollie. That's certainly a lot of trauma for someone, even for Game of Thrones. Next, the show was actually Kit's idea. When the spin-off was initially announced, a lot of people thought it was just HBO trying to milk the franchise even more. It's surprising that they've definitely been trying to go all in as far as Game of Thrones spin-offs are concerned. With how popular House of the Dragon became, it seems they're now throwing everything at the board to see what sticks. But the Jon Snow spin-off doesn't seem to be among these. The series was apparently the brainchild of Kit Harington himself. This was revealed by George R.R. Martin himself. Kit brought his own people and crew to pitch the idea to the network. Martin talked about this on his personal website, confirming that the show was in development and that it would be called Snow. While George didn't disclose the name of the writers and showrunners just yet, it's clear that this was a team that Kit had assembled himself. Martin believes that they're all terrific, and if he's given them his seal of approval, then we're not worried. It's exciting to see Kit be this passionate about his role and character once more. He stated before that he had a bit of a difficult time dealing with the end of Game of Thrones, especially because of how widely disliked it was by fans. Maybe he's giving Jon this spin-off series as a way of redeeming the character. Hey, if House of the Dragon got people to forget about the terrible conclusion to Dany's arc, maybe this spin-off series could have a similar effect. Plus, what does Emilia Clarke have to say about the series? Without a doubt, the character that got the shortest end of the stick in the Game of Thrones finale was Dany. Her character assassination was outright insulting to fans. While her decisions might have made sense if they were stretched and explained over the course of a season or two, her shift from a people's fighter to a genocidal maniac was just too rushed and quick. And so people were hoping that somehow the writers of Snow could redeem her character. But with her being dead, it's going to be a tough thing to do. Luckily, the world of Thrones is filled with magic, and bringing back a character isn't entirely unheard of. Earlier this year, Emilia was asked in an interview if she could possibly star in the upcoming Jon Snow sequel series. To this, she replied that fans should never say never. She kept things vague, but hey, that's about as optimistic of an update as we can hope to get. It's tough to think what role the character of Dany might have in Snow, if at all. With the show seemingly dealing with Jon's past trauma and life events, it's possible that a flashback featuring Dany might not be completely out of the question. We definitely think it's a stretch that the writers may bring her back from the dead, but again, considering this is Westeros, we wouldn't be surprised. Not to mention, can the Jon Snow sequel fix his character? Fans have been outright begging HBO to redo the 7th and 8th seasons of Game of Thrones. There have been petitions that have garnered millions of signatures, so it's a pretty large amount of fans that feel this way. While it was pretty obvious that they never really redo the seasons just because of fan outcry, potential sequels and spin-offs seem like the next best thing. The Snow sequel could be a great way to fix Jon's character arc and give him a proper and fitting conclusion that feels right with the character. In the books, Jon's character is assumed to be the prophesied Azor Ahai, or the prince that was promised. People expected that either he or Dany would be the ones to take down the Night King, but as it turned out, this honor was given to Arya, shocking many fans. Since then, people were really unsure unsure of just what Jon's purpose in the series was. His big role in the final season amounted to screaming at a dragon and then killing Dany. It just felt like a completely nonsensical way to write the character. This is why many fans are now hoping that the Jon Snow sequel is able to shed a bit more light on the character's role in the story. Hopefully, we'll get to see why he's important, and the writers will be able to make him an interesting character again. And who knows, maybe if the series ends up doing well, we could get even more sequels starring other characters. Though this time, let's get decent showrunners. Moving on, when is this series releasing? As of right now, an official release date hasn't been announced. HBO has kept things pretty hush-hush as far as the details of this series are concerned. We don't really know much about it, beside that it's going to star Kit as Jon and that his character is going to be a major focus. With House of the Dragon Season 2 coming around sometime in 2024, we think it's likely that the Snow sequel will come out even later. If we'd to guess, sometime in 2025 would probably be the earliest we could see the series. The Game of Thrones spin-offs are coming in full force, and there are tons on the way. Not only are we getting a Snow spin-off, but HBO is also working on a series about the Hedge Knight and the Sea Snake. We're also getting the Princess Nymeria prequel, known as 10,000 Ships. There are also animated shows in the works too. George is involved in the production of all these shows, so releasing them might take a bit more time. The last update we got on these was the fact that the shows are still very much in the script stage. Outlines are being written and structures for the episodes are in the works. The writers are working on the second and third drafts, but there's nothing really major done on any of these so far. There isn't even a guarantee that all of these shows will make it to our screens. It's possible that during any point of production, they may end up getting canceled. Next up, who's being cast in this show? It's tough to really say just who's going to be cast in the series because so far, the only star attached to it is Kit. Emilia did state that she won't be returning as Dany, but we think there's a possibility of a cameo appearance at the least. Of course, we may also get a chance to see some of the other Starks, including Arya and Sansa, though it's possible that the majority of the story for this will take place beyond the Wall, meaning we may not get to see them after all. Though if the writers want to make use of Bran's three-eyed raven abilities more effectively, then we think having him connect to Jon somehow could be a great way to do so. Grey Worm star Jacob Anderson also stated that fans shouldn't really expect to see him in the series. He added that the only way fans could see him is if he showed up to kill Jon. While it's possible that the spin-off may end with Jon's death, we don't really think Grey Worm will be the one who gets to deal the final blow. Some fans are even hoping that we'll get to see the return of the Night King, so Jon can be the one to finish him off like he was destined to. We're sure as more time passes, we'll get to see what other new and returning characters are going to be a part of this spin-off series. Finally, what's going to be the plot of the Snow sequel? With as few details as we have about the show so far, it's tough to really narrow down a plot, but it seems like the show is going to revolve a lot around Jon and how he deals with the lingering trauma that he's got after the end of the original series. It seems the events from the finale of Game of Thrones had a huge impact on Jon, and he's going to not only have to learn how to move on from them, but also will have a new set of challenges to deal with beyond the Wall. We're sure the writers have got something interesting cooking up if they decided to bring back this series, especially with Kit himself being the one to pitch the idea. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Jon Snow sequel? Comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.